Finally, an idea whose time may have come. And as Anne-Marie Berger shows us, what better place to have it happen than here?
The craft beer industry in St. Louis is booming.
When we started in 1991, Anheuser-Busch and Boulevard were the only other breweries in the state of Missouri. We were the first brew pub since Prohibition. We have now grown to nearly 30 within a 75-mile radius of St. Louis.
Nationwide, craft brewers saw a 20% growth in just 1 year, and there are plenty of beer geeks to support it.
They're uber geeked up about all the things that beer is and beer is becoming and can be.
Beer has been around for a long time, so it's hard to believe that there's something untapped in this market, but there is. Meet Steve Young, founder of the Synek Draft System. It has been likened to the Keurig coffee brewing system, mainly because of how it will look on your counter. But it doesn't brew beer, it dispenses it. This is just a prototype, right?
Yeah, so this was the initial prototype, and we'll give enough.
Young explains the packaging is like a flexible aluminum can, and your favorite craft beer can stay fresh in the 1-gallon container for at least 30 days.
Essentially, the consumer will be able to fill any one of these bags at any tap. The bag will essentially look something like this, fully pressurized, and the customer inserts this bag into the dispenser, clicks on something onto the valve that we're going to have onto this tap, and the machine will keep it cold and it'll pressurize the basically mini keg. Consider this to be like a little mini keg.
A mini keg right on your counter. Well, Young wasn't the only one that thought that was a good idea. He was a winner in the 2013 St. Louis Startup Challenge. He was awarded $100,000 from AOL co-founder Steve Case, and his Synek Draft System gained nearly 2,200 backers, raising almost $650,000 on Kickstarter, making it the most successful Kickstarter campaign out of St. Louis. And now his little startup is part of the Cambridge Innovation Center in the Cortex District, St. Louis's hub for innovative startups.
Essentially, it's the newest incubator in St. Louis, really meant for the companies that are trying to accelerate. So less in kind of like the new idea stage and more in the growth stage company.
And the growth stage is exactly where Synek is at.
So we'll launch in St. Louis in April, hopefully. That's what we're shooting for. And then we will have basically a launch in 2 new cities every week for the next 8 to 10 weeks. And our goal is to hit every major market in the United States and then get that all in by June. So 20 to 30 cities, 3 months. And then once that happens, little resting period, and then in September we launch worldwide.
Now for the Synek system to really take off, Young needs consumers to buy it and brewers to fill it. But if it does what he says it will do, local craft brewers are open to selling their beer in Synek packaging.
You can get a lot of different beers in bottles, cans, and kegs. What the Synek seems to answer is you can now have, assuming let's make the blanket assumption it's available everywhere at any pub, you can fill the Synek with any beer that's on tap. Once again, the consumer wins, having all these great choices available.
The growing number of craft breweries in this region makes St. Louis a great place for Young to grow his business. And the push and support for innovation in this town hasn't hurt either. Has it been helpful for you to be here?
Yes, no, it absolutely has. St. Louis has a lot of things to offer that, all the other cities I was looking at do not. In terms of the hype, yeah, you absolutely have to have hype. Is the vision bigger than what's happening? Hopefully, because that inspires more growth to happen. I think that the best of St. Louis is still to come. I think we still need to get more financial proceeds flowing into the city, and that'll happen when you have a couple successful startups. So there is a lot of churn, but once we get a Dropbox or a Facebook type company come out of the city, then you'll start to see the money come in, and that's when it really gets exciting.
Well, and maybe it's a draft beer system.
Or maybe it's a draft beer startup. That's my hope.